Alright, in theory that's recording. Hello everybody, welcome back into the Bear's Den, where we're still testing this new camera, and I've got it on the tripod, as you can see. Look, ma, no hands. And I've got this little remote thing I'm going to try and work out, because apparently people want to see me doing stuffs, and you know, that's cool, totally makes sense. Anyway, so yeah, while we're on the topic of the camera, I'm going with just the internal mic today. I'm going to be really curious to see how that translates in editing, and probably I'm guessing it's going to come out a little bit more like we're actually used to. Clearly, lighting is going to be a situation, but you know, bear with me as well, I learn the camera. Anyways, a lot of really exciting stuff going on up in the Bear's Den today. I found my first little tiny pepper forming on one of the super hots. So we'll start with that, I guess. And then I kind of got a question for the overall group in regards to that monster bad brains that's in the AeroGarden. So let's look at some of the peppers that are, well, the beginning of the new Bear's Den pepper jungle. Okay, so my tripod doesn't really get short enough to look into the makeshift tent right now. So here we have the orange habanero. I probably shouldn't have transplanted this one just yet, and you'll see why in a second. But our blue ribbon prize winner, first one to produce anything that looks like a proper pepper. I gotta move the camera in there because, like I've said, the zoom kind of sucks on this. But do you see? Come on, right in there. Oh, for an HD camera, I'm not terribly impressed with how it comes up on the little viewfinder, but I do have the beginning of a pepper in that Trinidad Scorpion Butch T Red, which is looking just fabulous since it's been transplanted into this larger planter. The lemon habanero and the bad brains are looking great too. However, what we've got going on here, what we've got here first, this is one of the most recent transplants. This is a bootleg clamshell. Just came out of the seed tray over the last week. Looking pretty good. Feeling a little light, but looking good. Back we have one of the Caribbean red habaneros. Now this, I should have transplanted this into the soil that the orange habanero is in, but I wasn't anticipating basically running out of potting soil. I don't have enough to fill one of these larger planters. I have just enough to do a couple of little transplants, and hopefully we'll get one of those done today. But this little guy has lost a whole lot of leaves. Kind of looks like there's a giraffe running around in here, kind of mowing at the bottom of it. It's got basically no flower starts left on it. And remember, we are in an unusually aphid-free environment. It's got beautiful roots on the bottom of it, but they're all at the bottom. They don't really have the opportunity to spread out to the side like they would in these larger planters, and I think that is why these are all dying off on me. So this one suffers a little bit for the sake of science, and because I haven't been out to get more potting soil yet. But I think I am definitely, this year I have learned, painfully so, that things have to be in proper size planters. Just, I need to stop being so cheap and buy larger planters as things grow on, or just face the facts that they're plants and get rid of them. Look at this beautiful lemon habanero. Lots of flowers on there. Scroll down just a little bit here. You can see a few of them, I hope. We've got a little bit of sketchy stuff going on the leaves. What do they call that? I think it's edema. I think basically that is because I don't have a fan in here yet. So that is entirely my fault. Figured I would move the port Thai basil under these shop lights because they're doing really well for the plants that I put under here. So, instead of being beside a light, this can finally be under one. Apparently I missed that guy last time I was doing some clipping. But here we have the bad brains that was looking so rough when it was still in the double cup. But now that it's in the larger planter, we've got lots of new growth just exploding on that. Tons of flower starts. And yeah, I am really, really pleased with how that looks now. So I'm thinking once I finally do get some soil for this, unless it dies in the meantime, I should get some really nice regrowth out of that. And if not, well, You know, I'm down a hab. Oh no. Plenty of other peppers to go. But I am, yeah, just thrilled with how that Bad Brains plant is looking, especially considering how bad it looked before the transplant. Anyway, let's head on up and take a look at the most recent batch of seedlings and get some transplanting done there. Alright, so what we've got here is the AeroGarden Harvest, the Classic Edition, with the 33 seed tray in there. And I've only got a few different varieties of peppers that sprouted out of this last batch, but I was just kind of filling holes at the time. It's not like these were all filled. I mean, I think these were, actually I got my little cheat sheet, I don't have to think. These were marigolds, I had some poppies in there, had some echinacea that never did sprout. Did get a few of those sages out, but otherwise those have just been filled with just kind of replacement pods, right? So the other day I took one of these out, the bootleg clamshell, and it had, like so many of them do, a second seedling kind of coming up at the base. So I have cut that. I don't know if you can see it here, and it's hopefully rooting, because I've had some incredible success rooting, well, cut seedlings really in this thing so far. And I'm gonna have to do that again today, because this guy here, which is a Butch Scorpion, is totally blocking the light from our little yellow, what is that, Trinidad Scorpion yellow. It's the only one of those two that sprouted, so I kind of need it to grow. So today I'm going to transplant that out, take a look at its roots, probably stuff, I don't know, into one of these empty locations, and hopefully get yet another plant out of it. But let's yeah, lift the light and take a look at how that's doing. You know what, let me grab another cup here first. Previously occupied by an orange habanero. Now is Butch clamshell, or no, Butch Scorpion. Alright, ta-da! You can't see it. And of course now the little pump comes on, but I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue for us here. Alright, let's just pull this out. Arm's probably right in the way. And yeah, that definitely does have another little seedling in there. Come on, untangle your roots. So tied into everything else. Come on, come on. Oh, I think I left these for far too long, and it looks like the bottom came off of that pod as I was pulling it out, so that's going to be some fun with the tweezers. I'm betting I definitely lost a lot of root mass there, but let's snip off that side plant, shove that back in somewhere, tuck you to the side. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to tuck that down for now. Gonna be time to do a good cleaning in there. So I'm just taking off the seed leaves from this. And actually I might take off that first round of leaves too. Let's see. Put it in one of the marigold spots. Got these funky little tweezers. I don't even remember where I got them, but they are quite handy for this. Just reach right in there, pull the pods out. Take out those old seeds. Really, I'm just gonna stuff this right in there. And as always, hope for the best, right? Now, surprisingly enough, that's probably going to root for me. And I say surprisingly because I've taken some clippings from, actually let me grab the jug, from this bit of Bad Brains here that came off. And you know, they were end bits, and I did the traditional, you know, cut the leaves back and put it on an angle, tucked them in there. Within 24 hours they looked pretty darn dead. I as compared to even this has just been sitting in the jug. You know, looking all right to me. I've even got another branch in there from the trimming. And yeah, keeping fairly green. I haven't darkened up the sides of this yet, but it is sitting down off to the side out of the general light. I'll show you that in a second. So for some reason, these little tiny ones, these are rooting for me, but anything really larger just isn't. What we got here? Is this one or two? There's two in there as well. So another couple of Trinidad Scorpions and another one there. And hopefully, yeah, another one there. Still having a blast with this thing. And the sprout rates compared to what I was getting attempting this stuff in peat moss or soil or basically all of the other things that I've tried, I'm just blown away by. So I'm thrilled. It seems like an expensive way to sprout seeds. A lot of people have mentioned that, but yeah, you can't argue with success though, and that's what gets me with this. Let's check out the garden beside it here. The what is this? The Elite version. All right. Well, hopefully the pump from this little classic isn't too loud right now, but we got to set the camera back a little farther from this one. Look at the size of this beautiful pepper plant. It's just exploding. And last week, maybe the week before, but I think it was last week, I cut all of this off from inside here, just so it could kind of get more light on the rest of the plant. And instead of, you know, that actually happening, what's happened is it's just filled in with new growth, and that new growth is, it's covered with little tiny flower blossoms, but none of these are getting to a point of actually becoming a solid pepper start yet, which is making me kind of nervous. And I'm really torn. I think I'm going to end up transplanting this, but this is the bit that I want everybody's advice on, because a lot of you have more experience with AeroGardens than I do. Like, these are my first ones, right? Like, really. Anyway, the root mass is taking up probably half of the reservoir in here, if not more, and the entire plant is sucking the nutrients out of this thing in minutes of me putting it in there. So I want to take it out, but I'm worried that if I do take it out, this little cup that it's in is going to be just completely destroyed by that, or I'm going to destroy the roots, pulling it out of the garden and then subsequently out of the cup. So what do you think? If I transplant it and I put that cup in the soil, I lose that cup until things compost out later on, but you know, maybe I have a better chance of keeping the pepper plant itself intact. And if I can keep it intact and transfer it into soil, I can hit it with a different nutrient solution, because I've got a lot of like just standard Miracle-Gro garden type stuff around, right? This for bloom and that for growth, and like just vegetable stuff. I think I've got like 3 boxes of the vegetable stuff around the house because I keep losing it and then buying new ones. But if I hit it with that, then maybe that would help it keep some of these flowers, because there've got to be, you know, almost 100 on here, but none of them are setting with fruit. So yeah, I would love some feedback on that. And I guess that about wraps it up for the den right now. Oh no, I was going to finish off the transplant, so I guess we'll hang out and do that, and then that'll wrap it up. One thing I am really liking about starting seeds in these pods is just how easy it is to transplant these into something. I mean, the roots go all the way down to the bottom of the cup here, so I'm just going to let them do that. Then I've got another party cup full of my potting soil. Cover those up right away. As you know, I'm not used to working with a tripod, so awkward. But then I just kind of pull the plant up as I'm going, and it stretches those roots out at the bottom of the cup. And so far, this has worked well, forgive my arm, for, well, everything I've transplanted, really. making a bit of a mess because I don't normally do this up on the top of the shelf. Generally sit cross-legged on the floor. Do it there, but ta-da! One happily, freshly transplanted Butch Scorpion, ready to grow and, you know, scare the bejeepers out of me when it finally produces fruit, just like that Trinidad Scorpion down under the shop lights. Well, alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed this quick kind of look around what's going on up in the bear's den here, and for the record, it's a very windy, hot, chocolatey sort of day out there, so there's that. But yeah, I would really love to hear everybody's feedback on whether or not you guys think I should take a crack at transplanting that monster Bad Brains pepper out of the AeroGarden. It's a little daunting, so yeah, I just don't know. I'm definitely going to have to get some more potting soil so that I can transplant that Caribbean Red habanero, but like I said earlier, it kind of suffers for the sake of science right now. And yeah, not quite sure what the weather's supposed to be like this weekend, but I will do my darndest to be back with a full garden update on Sunday, because I am thrilled to say that there are at least three lemon habanero plants out there that have absolutely got definite little tiny peppers on there. So actually might be a pretty decent garden season this year.